Hi, my name is Monica and welcome to Guru Grit, a place for empowerment and learning. So today I would like to talk to you about the notion, or rather the perception of competition. And my idea is this, that competition doesn't actually exist outside ourselves. So here's what I mean. Competition is how you feel about something rather than it being real. There is absolutely no shortage of the things that you want in your lifetime. There is enough suitable prospects to date and marry. There is enough money to be made. There are enough opportunities. There is enough properties. Of course, there are facts. People will say, oh, this is overcrowded. It's so hard to rent. It's so hard to buy. It's so hard to get a job, XYZ. And as Neville Goddard says, facts overflow the world. I have to say, facts do overflow the world. But if those facts are not your friends, don't be friends with those facts. Who really cares how something comes to you, so long as it comes to you in a way that makes you happy? However, if you're somebody that constantly perceives shortage and says things like, but it's true, Monica, it's true. It's like, well, then that's true for you. So go with God, like, good on you, figure it out. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna argue with anybody, but I've tried the opposite and it works very, very well. So if you believe something is hard, it will be hard, it will be difficult. Life is inherently challenging, not because, well, it's painful, but the reason it's painful is that we give a meaning of pain to something. We assign that meaning. So when you assign meaning to something, such as shortage is a big topic, especially with resources, where I live, certainly housing, affordability, etc., then you make it hard for yourself. And if I wasn't doing what I was doing, if I wasn't who I was, then I literally would have no reason to believe otherwise either. But I know friends of mine, I introduced them to one another, now they're very good friends. One of them moved here, to work on her English, got a job in hospitality, made good money, but it wasn't like tech industry money. It was just like, okay, she waits tables, she waits tables. She needed a place to live. Now already you're thinking, rent in Toronto, are you insane? And she picked a really, really plush area. So I just like it there. I just like it there, And if she'd told anyone else, they probably would have gone, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen for you. She said, well, I'm not sharing. I'm a grown woman. I want a 1-bedroom, and this is what I can offer to pay. And have enough money to do the things that I like and to save and to travel. And literally anybody else, I'm sure people did roll their eyes, but she's smart. She didn't tell everyone. And her friend, tells me, and I'm like, good for her. And she's very determined, and she's gonna get it. And she did. By fluke, as always is the case. It's a 1-bedroom in a beautiful residential area in Uptown. She's walking around, saw an elderly gentleman, inquired about the sign, and said, I can pay you this much. And he said, perfect, 1-bedroom, it's got everything. Knock yourself out. And this was just a couple months before, the lockdown and everything. So she just perfect timing, perfect everything. But she had no notion that it can't happen. She had no notion of a shortage of money, shortage of good places to live. And she wasn't fazed by, the rental process where you have to show statements of this and have references, which she didn't have. She just got here. Just everything just fell out of the sky. It worked out for her. And one of my good friends as well, she's looking for a place to live in downtown, somewhere very trendy. And she said, I was just driving in my car and there was an older lady, in a gown, sweeping stairs. And there was a little sign. So it was like a duplex. And she just pulled over and she said, are you renting it? And she went, yes, are you looking? And she said, yep, I can pay you this. And she said, cool. She went and checked it out. And this is the greatest thing. After she moved out, her sister moved in. After the sister moved out, a friend moved in. So that lease was secure at that amount for 6+ years for that woman. So that woman kept getting rent money. These girls didn't have to pay an extortionate amount. They lived in a beautiful place. This is what you have to understand about energy. When you're true to yourself and you don't perceive limits, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Because I know it's difficult for people to understand, but there are things far more valuable than money. To me, money is just an afterthought, sort of, I would rather go straight to the source of the experience and have money to purchase the experience, if that makes sense. And you might think, but that old lady then didn't get as much rent money. But maybe she wanted tidy tenants who paid their rent on time and kept her house in a beautiful state and have friendship and somebody who was good company. And so everybody wins when you take limitation and competition out of the equation. Believe me, everybody wins. So this is the thing I really want to mention, because I had a few more messages about, and people are serious. They're like, I want to marry the celebrity. I'm dead serious. And when I tell people, they think I'm insane. Don't tell those people. Here's the thing. It's one thing, the only people who are in competition with the world are people who are in competition with themselves. And I don't mean that in a healthy way, like, but what about athletes? They're famous and they're rich and everybody loves them and they're so popular and they're so handsome and they're so pretty, but they have a healthy sense of competition. They're always trying to outdo themselves. They're not working against themselves. They're setting new goals for themselves. That's called evolving. That's fine. But to look at someone else and say, we want the same things and I'm going to crush you, and it's like, that's just, you can feel the resistance in that already. So when it comes to getting a specific person, you also should not work against yourself, which means, yes, you can have that person. But what's even better is to acknowledge that you can have millions of versions of that person. And where famous people are the point of focus, I'll say it that way, the truth is, unless you know them and you sit with them, walk with them, break bread, you don't actually know to the full of your ability how compatible you are with them, vice versa. This is why they say never meet your heroes or don't meet your idols, because they burst that bubble. But you can meet them, you can focus on them, and take the best, extract the best of what you like from them, and then watch it come to you through people who are 100% compatible, rather than like 80 or even 98. You can have it all. So I'm not saying you can't have that person, but what I'm saying is, when you tell other people and they convince you of the fact that you're a lunatic because you think this seriously, you work against yourself. You're in competition with yourself. And to say that, the famous, I think the whole cast of Marvel, men and women pretty much, this is the most common thing people write to me about, to say, but everybody wants them, so how am I gonna get them? The how is not your business. The people who end up with them are the people who never question themselves, first and foremost. Secondly, you don't have to be remarkable in the eyes of the world. You have to know that you are remarkable to attract your perfect person, because you're always in relationship with yourself. This is why it's important not to be in competition with your own desire. To throw a little bit of, lighter fluid on that fire is to encourage it. But when you think of competing and what you can't have, when you go on like LinkedIn and it's like 64 applicants for this role, if that bursts your bubble, just maybe put a sticky tab or hold up your hand as you're scrolling to the description. Don't read that part. It may be a fact, but it's not a fact that serves you. What are the facts that serve you? You're desirable, and you're worth the salary you want, and you're qualified, and you're educated, and you're charismatic. I don't know. Do you know how many times I've heard people who do hiring say, it doesn't matter how qualified someone is. At the end of the day, I have to work with them. And then I have to go home to my kids. And if they stress me out, I'm not hiring them. Something to consider. So go forth, get everything you want, and worry about nothing. I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.